We're told by Chazal that the Avos were mesakein. They instituted the tefillot. Avraham, Davin, Shachris, Yashkim Avraham Boker, Yitzchak Mincha. In our parsha, it was davening, Leis Erev, and Yaakov davened Tfilat Arvit. I'd like to suggest, and I did so already 3 years ago, but if you don't remember, I'll suggest again, that there's a fourth type of tefillah. There's a fourth way of prayer, of communication, of connection with Hashem through tefillah that I'd like to elaborate on. It's not Shachris, it's not Mincha, and it's not Maariv. Rather, it transcends time, transcends place, anything human. The Gemara in Sanhedrin 95a is brought in this week's Parsha in Rashi, Per Chavdalid, Pasuk Mem Beis. And Rashi quotes the Gemara by saying, Amar Rav Acha, Yafeh sichasan shel avdei avois lifnei hamakoim mitayrasan shel banim. Yafeh is more beautiful. Sichasan shel avdei avos. The conversations, the sichas chulin, the day-to-day words of even the servants of our forefathers, yoiser mi toirasan shalbanim, even more than the Torah, the learning, the laws, the lemaisa of the banim, shaharei parsha shel Eliezer kafula ba Torah. Because the parsha of Eliezer is repeated twice in the Torah, Baharbe Gufei Torah, but laws of vital importance
hinted to
are just hinted to. Lo nidnu el beremiza, where your tefillin is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Bein einechem. What does that mean? Okay, we learn it out. Not exactly there. It's got to be a little bit higher. And so on and so forth. There's so many examples of chamuros, of things which are of high level of importance, chamurot, that are not mentioned specifically straight out in the Torah. But sichas avdei avos, the conversations that Eliezer Eved Avram had with Avram, then by the Be'er Hamayim, where he found Rivka, the test, the tefillah to Hashem. He repeated the whole story to Lavan and to Besuel, to Rivka's mother. All of that is repeated in its full length twice in the Torah. So says Rashi at the end, Yofes yichasan shel avdei avos yuser mitarasan shalom. But we have to understand, why is that the case? Why is that the case? That Yafas Yichasan Shal Avdei Avos Yosef. I mean, it's a very nice story. It's a story of Eliezer's Amunah. It's a story of Hashgacha Pratis. It's a story of what a woman, an Eishes Chayil, the qualities that she has to have It's a story of the evil brother and how the power of good can overcome. It's a story of a match literally made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
But why? What's inside that necessitated the repetition? That necessitated the arichus halashon of this story. Let's be ma'ayin. Let's look at the psukim that talk about the story of Eliezer Eved Avram. And perhaps if we do so, we can gain some insight into the lessons that we are ought to learn. Avram Zokin Ba Bayomim. Vashem Beirachas Avram Bakol. He has a son. Now the son has got to get married. Put your hands on my thigh. Do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of Canaan. You must go to my land, to the land of my birth, and you will take a wife for Yitzchak. Eliezer says back to him, what happens if the woman doesn't want to come? He says, don't do that. But if you go and you're unsuccessful, then if you are unsuccessful, then oz tinoke mi olas. So what happens? Eliezer goes to the well and he opens up with a tefillah by the well. Vayoymar Hashem Elokei Adoni Avram Hakrino Lefanai Hayoim. Let it happen for me today. Hakrino Lefanai Hayoim. Let it happen for me today. And guess what? He's speaking to Hashem, and Hashem answers him right away.
Immediately.
And what does he do?
Right.
He bows down to Hashem. V'yishtachu, the pasuk says, right, when she says that she's the daughter of Basuel, Eliezer Eved Avram bows down to the Rabban Shalom. Eliezer Eved Avram. What?
Ish Avraham?
Yeah, he became Ish. After Malach came.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
But during the part he wasn't Ish yet, he was still Yeved.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Eliezer Eved Avram had a quality. The quality that he had was that he spoke to Hashem.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke to Hashem. He got to the well and he said, Ramon Shalom, I have a difficult task ahead of me. Please help me. Hashem said, okay, sure. And he answered him. And then Eliezer Eved Avram got a response, bows down to Hashem. It's as if he's having Yishtachu Hashem in front of everybody. It's as if he's having a conversation with Hashem. What is Yafa Sichason Shal Abdei Avos Yoser Miturason Shal Banamim? It means like this. What's special about this story? What's really special? What's special is that Eliezer Eved Avram, when he davens to Hashem, it's not a formal tefillah. He actually just simply talks to Hashem. He asks Hashem for what he needs. He thanks Hashem after it's provided. He's in conversation with Hashem. Sichasan shel avdei avos is a fourth type of tefillah. It's not in the morning, it's not restricted to the afternoon, and it's not only in the evening. It's at all times, everywhere. It's Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid. Hashem has to be with me always. Ki mimini bal emoit. He never leaves me. And I talk to Him. I'm constantly reminded of His presence. Before I go into the store, I say, please Hashem, help me buy the piece of meat that is healthy, that it is tended for me.
Bilvavi.
Bilvavi, or Shalom Arush, all the good svarim of late, contemporary.
Yeah.
We got to talk to the Hashem. We have to bring Hashem into our lives and just have casual conversations. Now, I always wondered, 10 years ago, if a person would talk to himself on the street, you'd look at him like he was nuts. Today, if somebody talks to themselves on the street,
Cell phone.
it's normal. It's normal. So you see these people with the Bluetooth or whatever, they're not even holding a phone, so you don't even know they're talking to the phone. Right? They're standing like in the hallway. Yeah? What'd you say? And they're looking at you. And you're like, me? What? What did I say? And they're like,
no, you didn't say that.
No, yeah. Ever happened to you?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. So I was always wondering, it's such a radical change in behavior, in human behavior, in midos, and what's acceptable, Some people would still, are still bewildered, but most of us have already gotten used to it. Why did Hashem do that? So the best suggestion I could come up with is because, for a long time, perhaps has to do with our culture in North America, not sure if it was always like this, but for a long time, we were embarrassed to talk to Hashem. If somebody would see you talking to yourself on the street, they'd wonder, who's he talking to? And you'd be saying, oh yeah, I'm talking to Hashem. Muloi kol haaretz kivodo. He's everywhere, right here. Okay, we'll look at you like you're nuts. Hashem? Who is Hashem, like Paro said, that you're talking to? Today, it's perfectly acceptable. Zeh l'uma zeh. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us such challenges which perhaps a person should be misgaber on for the sake of human dignity. We should overcome these tendencies to want to talk in public, on the phone, out loud, in front of everybody. But perhaps Hashem is saying, okay, I'll give you that. But I have something else that I want you to take as well. And that is, talk to me. Talk to me on the street. Talk to me in front of the store. Talk to me in the hallway. Talk to me when you wake up. Talk to me when you go to sleep. Just continue talking to me. Relate to me. Tell me about your problems. I want to hear about them. You're my child. It matters to me. Acknowledge me when I give you something. Thank me when you're grateful. And if we can appreciate the yofa, the beauty in sichasan shel avdei avos, yoiser mitirasan shel banim, it's the highest level. It's even greater than Torah study. When a person can be mizdabik by Hashem to the level where he's completely engrossed in conversation always. Let's continue. The pasuk, when Eliezer is repeating what happened, the story to Besuel and Lavan, he says over, Va'omar el Adoni, I had said to my master in the beginning, Ulai lo selech isha acharai, maybe the woman won't follow me. The pasuk actually spells the word ulai without a vav. Mm-hmm. And Rashi says, I think many people know this Rashi, Elai ksiv. It says Elai. Bas Haisaloi Eliezer. He had a daughter. And he was looking for an excuse so that Avram could marry off his precious holy son to Eliezer's daughter. Oh my Lord, Avraham, Bini, Baruch, Viata, Arur, my son is Baruch. You are Arur. In Arur is Medabik Baruch. In Arur you can't stick. It doesn't stick to a Baruch, right? You need a Baruch and a Baruch, but your family situation doesn't allow you for that. You're an Arur. We are a Baruch.
That wasn't because of Noah?
It's Yichus. Yeah. So I'd like to ask the question, why is the word Ulai spelt without a Vav only when Eliezer's repeating the story to Besuel? But in the first time around, when Eliezer is actually talking to Avram, he says, Ulai lo yisoyava with a vav. So there's no drasha.
That is.
The drasha is only when he's repeating it.
Right.
But what happened when he was saying it? It was a vav there.
Because he is a matchmaker professional. You want to show to Betalel that he's ready to marry his daughter.
Let's see.
Yeah. So.
Vayomer Hashem Elokei Adoni Avraham. Hakrinai lefanai hayoim va'asei chesed im Adoni Avraham. If we notice, when Eliezer asked Hashem to help him with the Nisayan, with the well, he said, do a chesed with my master, with Avram. But when he's waiting to see, when he can't wait, because Rivka had already given him and his gmalim water, and he wants to know, is this a person from our family? What does it say in the pasuk? V'ha'ish mishto Allah, he was waiting. Macharish, or he's mevuvol, Rashi says, Macharish l'das hayitzliach Hashem darkoi oiloi. Did Hashem make his ways successful? So wait a second. When he's davening for that Avram's thing should be successful. But when he's waiting to see if she's from his family, he's waiting to know if his way will be successful, his derech. And we repeat itself, and he says afterwards when he's repeating, Hashem Elokei Adoni Avram Yeshel no matzliach darki. He doesn't even say it over properly. When he was davening, he said, Hitzliach asei chesed im Adoni Avram. And when he's repeating what he said to Hashem, he says, Im yeshcho no matzliach darki. If you, right, will be matzliach, will make my path successful. So what is it? Is it im Adoni Avram, or is it im hitzliach darki? My own. Let's see an amazing sentence, one of my favorites.
Whoa.
Adoni Avi Zikni Mori Rabbi Zal Hige B'Shem Harav HaKadosh Mikotsk. Kotsk Rebbe said this word. Al Elai Ksiv. Right? Ulai Loi Siva. Elai Ksiv. Kishahayo Nogea Loi Higirsh Nigi Aso. When he was actually talking to Avram, says the Kotsker, he was Nogea. He was Nogea the daughter. Right? He's listening to Avram talk about the Shidduch for Yitzhak, He knew that all these years he had his eye on Yitzchak, right? He had his eye out on Yitzchak. He really wanted her for his eye. Such a great girl, the Bas Eliezer. She was really nice. She was, she had all the good qualities. You should have seen her resume. She was just the top. She went to nursing school, and she went to the top seminary, right? She had, everything going for her. And he had his eye out on Yitzchak. He was no gay of the dover. You know what that means?
He was
He was involved in the thing. He couldn't take himself out of the situation.
What is that?
Pogebo
He
interest.
was involved in it. He had self-interest in it.
Self-interest.
Couldn't
He
take
had
himself out.
self-interest. When he was talking to Avram, he didn't even feel the self-interest. He didn't even know that he had self-interest. So when he said Ulai, he said it with the greatest intentions. With the greatest intentions. V'nira shehechzira Torah kol haparsha she'al zeh omrim Chazal yafas yichasan shegam hu yarei shema yesh lo eze negia v'ulai yikalkel ashlichus al yadoi. When he was repeating the parsha, what was he doing? He was reviewing to see, wait a second, was I nogea b'davar? Did I really want this shlichus to succeed? Or perhaps I really didn't want it to succeed. And at that point he realized that I said Eli, not Ulai. Only when he was reviewing did he realize. And he said Eli, not Ulai. Now he was afraid that because his intention was not correct, perhaps the shlichus would not work.
Because
Ki yoda ne'emona, ki ratzon Avram Avinu olav v'shalom yimali Hashem Yisbarach. He knew that for Avram Avinu, for sure Hashem would fulfill His will. Rak yaresh lo yigrom kilkul b'shlichusai, that He wouldn't cause now this to be distorted, the shlichus. V'zeh shekasav matzliach darki, and that's why when he's repeating himself, he says matzliach darki. V'hichzir la'atzmo kol inyan. He started reviewing it. I didn't say chesed im Avram. I wanted him to be matzliach darki. I wanted my plan to work. V'hichzir la'atzmo kol inyan v'hirgish b'negiyaso. And he felt his negiyas, his self-interest. And then when he says, no, I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for Avram, that's when he became a true shliach. And when he realized that everything was just in the schus of Avram Avinu, even though Eliezer himself was a tzaddik, every person has to know that we're a shliach of the Rabbeinu Shalom. And if we know this, and all of our actions will be according to this intention, and if we know that everything that we're going to merit to do is only because Hashem wants it, that's when we'll be successful. If we do things out of self-interest, if we're self-motivated, if we don't have the Ratzon Hashem as our primary intention, then chas v'shalom, it's very possible that what we were set out to do in this world will not work. But when we put our own negiyas aside and we become true shluchim of the Rabbeinu Shalom, when we review our day, when we look at our sicha schulim, and we realize, wow, all those decisions I made were because of my own self-interest and motivation, and not necessarily l'tachlis haratzon Hashem, that's when we can do tshuva and we can decide, no, I only want the Ratzon Hashem to be mikuyam. That's all I want. I don't want any more for my self-interest to interfere. That's when our shlichus will be fulfilled. That's when we'll be able to accomplish what we were set out to accomplish. So in the first time around, lo yirgish klal. He didn't realize what he was saying. He didn't realize when he asked Avraham Avinu, what's going to be if she doesn't come, that what he really was trying to do was say, I want your son for my daughter in a shidduch. He didn't realize when he davened that he thought he was davening for the success of Avraham Avinu, but really he was really only self-motivated in davening for his own success. Not sure, perhaps the test was l'mala miderech hateva. Maybe it was something that he shouldn't have tested Hashem. I don't know. But the idea is that he realized afterwards when he said it over a second time, why? Because they become avdei avos. Because they become the servants of Avraham Avinu. He transcended. He realized that I'm nogea b'davar. I have my self-interest in mind. Let me put that aside and focus on the Ratzon Hashem. That's l'sas emes.
So why does he say he changed the? It's just to point that out that he changed it. It took the vav out. Is to emphasize.
Because it was at the second time around that he realized that I said Eli. I didn't say Ulai.
Okay, so he's saying the second time Eli because that may have been the intention of the first.
Right. He's realizing, it's becoming clear that Ulai was not Ulai, it was Eli. And that Imadoni Chesed, Imadoni Avram was not even Adoni Avram, it was Imetzliach Darki. Im Yesh Chana Metzliach Darki. Eliezer had an ulterior motive. He was biased. He could have allowed this bias to ambush his mission. But Eliezer caught himself on time. He caught himself on time. He realized that if he went as a servant for Avram and not allow his predisposition to affect the mission, then certainly the mission would be successful. But if he allowed himself to be swayed to the ulterior motive, then he was sure to fail. So he davened to Hashem. He put his heart into Hashem. He begged Hashem to help him succeed. And Hashem answered his tefillos. We all have these situations in our lives. We are all tested on a daily basis. Why are we doing what we're doing? Is it for us or is it for Hashem? Were we talking to Hashem or were we not? I always like to say over Hashem Yishmu, forgive me if you've heard it a million times, but it's very appropriate to this word. The Shem Yishmu says that Gadol ha-mitzuvah va'oisa yoser mi she'ena mitzuvah va'oisa. It's greater somebody who's commanded to do a mitzvah and does it, more than the one who's not commanded and does it. And the question is why? If a person is not commanded to do something, imagine if
his own volition.
Imagine if a child brings his father a cup of coffee and he didn't even ask him for it.
Wow.
It's difficult, it's bitul.
He'd be very happy with it. Yeah. But if he told him to do it, okay, good, he listened, but it's not as good. So why is it Gadol Yosef Misha Mitzvah Vaysa Yosef Misha Eina Mitzvah Vaysa? And for the Shem Yishmu, with a concept that we know from the Gemara called Shluchai Shel Adam K'Moisa. When a person sends somebody else to do a shlichus, if I send my friend to Yerushalayim to bring my bikurim, So he becomes an extension of me, and he can read Mikvar Bikurim. Mikvar Bikurim says, Ve'esa Adama Asher Nasata Li. What do you mean? You're thanking Hashem for the Adama which you gave to me. You didn't give it to me, you gave it to my friend that sent me. Shlucho shel Adam k'moisai. Shlucho shel Adam k'moto. It's like he's an extension of me. He's my arm. And therefore when he says, Al Adama Asher Nasata Li, it's not a problem. He means me. We're all the same. When the Rabbeinu Shalom sends us on a mission, he commands us to do a mitzvah, and we do it, we become his shliach in this world. We become his messenger. Shluchoi shel Adam kimoisoi. Kimoisoi. Do you realize? If we engage in a mitzvah because we're doing the shlichus of Hashem, then we become connected to Him. We become like Him. We become an extension of Him. Achelak Elokai mimal. But if we do it for ulterior motives, then we disconnect ourselves from Him. So yeah, we're doing a mitzvah. We're being commanded. But we don't become an extension of Hashem. We don't become an Eved Hashem. We're not a true Eved. We have ulterior motives. We're biased. How do we overcome our daily biases and ulterior motivations? We have to learn from Eliezer Eved Avram. Number one, we have to realize we're servants of Hashem. You know? Not like Obama. Well, he thinks he's I don't know what he thinks he is. But we're here to serve Hashem. It's all we're here for. We're here to fulfill the Ratzon of Hashem. Just the Ratzon of Hashem. What we want does not really matter in the long run. All that matters is what Hashem wants, because what He wants is going to happen anyway. The second thing, we have to constantly talk to Him. Just like Eliezer Eved Avram. He brought Hashem into his life on a daily basis. He was mesaking the fourth tefillah. Called Tzvi Shel Avdei Avos. That is how we remove our own bias. That is how we replace our own impulse with the Rabbeinu Shalom's Ratzon. In the Bereshis Rabbi, the Medrash, it says, I should have brought it, I forgot to bring it, that by the end of the Parsha, Eliezer was Yoitza Mechlal Or L'Chlal Baruch.
He left the ground of cursing.
Of the ground of cursing to the ground of Baruch.
Blessed.
How did he do that?
It's not easy.
He was born a Knani.
Yeah.
He was cursed by Noah.
Avram Avinu knew he was a tzaddik.
Yeah.
He knew he was a tzaddik. And he still didn't want to marry his daughter. Because he was born that way. Not because of anything he did. And yet at the end of the Parsha, the Medrash tells us that he was Yotza Mechal Ara L'Chlal Baruch. And that's what it says, is Osha Amar Hashem Elokei Adoni Avram Shekaro LaAvram Adon V'haya Mishras Ne'eman Shebezeh Nichnas L'Chlal Baruch. Explains in Nesiva Shalom. How did Eliezer, right, when he learned Torah and mitzvos and ma'asim tovim, he was still an Ar.
Right.
But when he was mistabek ba'Avram, when he became Adoni Avram, that's when he became L'Chlal Baruch. Kol ha'mechuber l'tahar, tahar. Anything which is attached and attaches itself to something pure is tar. It's a klal by mikvos. We have to tie ourselves to tzaddikim. We have to tie ourselves to great people, to shiurim, to the Beis HaKnesses, to the Beis HaMedrash. And if we tie ourselves to that, we can become from an oror to a baruch. So think about it like this. Think about it like this. We're born, ki yetzer leiv ha'adam ran min urav. We have inclinations. We have ego inclinations. We have a desire to do what's good for us. But we have to realize we're avdei Hashem. We're only here to serve Hashem. And in order to do so, we have to constantly talk to Him. And we have to attach ourselves to that which is tahar. If we do that, if we become like Eliezer, who attaches himself to Avram, then he becomes the shliach of Avram. And shluchai shel Adam kamoso. And if shluchai shel Adam is kamosai, then he becomes Avram. He's just an extension of Avram. If we do the mitzvahs because the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to do the mitzvahs, then we become like the Rebbeinu Shalom. So even if we really are not so good, and even if we feel a little bit down, or perhaps consider ourselves quote unquote oror, we're not the greatest of people, but if we can tap into that shlichus shel Adam k'maisai, then we can be yotze mechalal oror v'nichnas l'chalal baruch. There's a mitzvah say in the Torah, Uboy Sidbak.
To him you shall cling.
To him you shall cling. The Gemara says, Hadbeik b'midoisav. We have to cling to his midos. Mahu rachum, af ato rachum. Mahu chanun, af ato chanun. We have to be like him. Why do we have to emulate the midos of the Rebbeinu Shalom? Because shluchai shel Adam kimoisoi. Kimoisoi. We have to be him. We have to be like him. We have to be an extension of him. And then we'll be successful. To be like Eliezer Eved Avram, who realized he's an Eved, who realized that in order to be mistabek he has to talk to Hashem, who realized that he has to become a true shliach even though he has negias, who realized that he has to emulate his master, and then he can be yotze mechalal oror to l'chalal baruch. I just want to conclude with some thoughts. We're living in a turbulent time. We cannot take lightly what the world witnessed last week and this week. I want you to know, in case you don't already know yourselves, that there were communities, thousands of people that were wiped out. They lost, individuals lost everything. And they were left with quite literally the shirts on their back.
Period.
There's a community called Seagate in New York.
Washed out.
It was washed away.
Yeah, my wife has relatives there.
Yeah?
Washed away.
Still there?
Well, they were there.
But literally, there were streets that are now covered in sand.
Yeah.
Literally. There's a community called Far Rockaway that is close to the shore of the canal. Literally, I don't know, half or quarter or whatever it was, the tides rose up and washed away the houses there. Flooded houses. My brother lives in Carteret, New Jersey, near Newark Airport. That must be also at the Hudson, maybe, I don't know. He told me, and I'd spoken to him at 8:30 at night on last Monday, and he said you could see the streets filling up water. But he said, don't worry, by 12 o'clock the tides will go down. Spoke to him later on, not that night, but the next time I was able to, a couple of days later. He said he watched the waters flood the streets, rise up. Now he lives in a bungalow, so it's 6 steps up to his main floor. 1 floor. He has an attic too, and a basement. He saw the water rise up 1 step, the next step, the next step. All of a sudden he hears his basement filling up with water.
Oh no.
Filling up and up and up and up and up and up with water. All of a sudden the lad, boom!
What happened?
He thought that the windows popped.
What happened?
They were getting a little frightened. They were upstairs. Fine. Water's rising. Rising. He said, 5th step. 12 o'clock. It started going down. He said, Baruch Hashem, it didn't come to the 1st floor. They would have had nowhere to go.
That's right.
He said the next morning he looked in his basement. There was a massive hole in his foundation.
Whoa.
The water pressure boomed right through the house. The cylinder blocks, they make it from cylinder, not cement, but just popped. His house was condemned. $50,000 later, maybe in another few months, they'll actually be able to move back. Who knows?
Where's he living now?
At his in-laws.
Wow.
People, that's one person.
What's the name of the bay with that whole community, Jewish community with the Shul? Bayswater, like completely.
There are trucks going in and out of the yeshiva in Far Rockaway and Chaya that are just being filled with everybody's svarim and whatever they lost.
Yeah.
They didn't, I don't think, no.
Yeah, I think Chaya
further away. But there were yeshivas, the yeshiva of Long Beach, Darchei Torah.
Darchei Torah got flooded?
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of damage.
Whoa.
It's a monumental, the community was hit hard.
Wow. And 5 towns also got hit hard.
Yeah, 5 towns in different places. There's different waters and well springs.
You said your sister.
My sister's basement got full of sewage. A little different problem. The sewer system was clogged.
Wow.
People are still without power now. 2 weeks later.
My brother just got power back Friday night in Scarsdale. Saturday night.
Oceanside. People, and I know that my in-laws in Lawrence.
Yeah.
They didn't have any water, Baruch Hashem, but they were out of power until yesterday, and then yesterday they lost power again, and they don't have power, and they're saying they're not going to have power till the end of the month.
San Scarsdale just got a big snowstorm. They had 8 inches of snow yesterday.
I was supposed to be on a plane last night.
I know, for the bris.
And I didn't make it into
I don't think there were any planes going out.
There were, but mine was one too late.
Oh.
So LaGuardia closed down. Whatever. It's
a mess.
Crazy. I heard that there was a 7.6 scale earthquake in Guatemala yesterday.
Whoa.
Did you hear that?
No.
Tons of people died.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
Things are happening to us. We sit here in Toronto, but we got to know. We got to know what's going on out there. So I was thinking, I asked the rabbi, what did he say about it? And he told me, he said this and that, and Averis. And I was thinking perhaps a different mahalach. a different mahalach and how to understand. Of course, elu ve'elu, everything is correct. There's tons of lessons to be learned. But the Gemara in Bereshis asked the question. I'm sorry I don't have it inside to read to you, because the Gemara in Bereshis that you have here at the Shul doesn't have the Perush Rabbeinu Chanan al inside. I went to check.
Doesn't have.
Doesn't have a Rabbeinu.
How about the other
Bereshis?
brachos?
A Vagshal do you have?
We have the green Greenberg edition. What is it called? The other one's
the art scroll you have.
Not art scroll. We have the regular Gemara.
And you have the big Shas set.
Yeah.
That doesn't have it.
It doesn't have it.
No, it's the Maduras Yerushalayim. I need a Maduras Vagshal. But anyway.
Okay. Would it fit to have it or no?
No, probably not. I'll say it to the best of my memory.
Okay.
The Gemara says, "My Zavos." The Mishnah in Bereshis, Haroya, somebody who sees Zavos, Ruchos, thunder, lightning, whatever. You make a bracha, Shekoicha Yigvurasa in Moli Olam, says the Mishnah.
Right.
Interesting. What's Ruchos?
Winds.
Winds. What kind of winds?
Strong winds.
So there's a targum on the side of the... Rashi says a word which is not so muvan, it's not understood. And the targum says Supat Nachshol. What's a Supat Nachshol? Sufat is a storm.
Yeah.
What's Nachshol?
Trip you up.
Tidal wave.
Tidal wave. Ah, so like a
tidal
tsunami.
wave. Tidal, or over the tidal waves that were happening in the storm. The storm wasn't from rain, by the way. All the flooding had nothing to do with rain. It was that the oceans.
Right.
But it wasn't
the waves.
because it was from ocean and also cold air came in.
Same time.
This was.
No, but the issue, there's a number of factors that came together. Number one, it was a full moon. A full moon is notorious for having the highest of the high tides of all the month. Then on top of that, you had tremendous storm of Sandy, which was like 1,600 kilometers in length, with gigantic winds that had the lowest barometric pressure measured inside of it, which means that around it is tremendously strong.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a tremendously strong winds blowing in from outside, the highest tide possible in the month, and those combinations together created the most amazing surges into New York, New Jersey, etc., than they've seen ever.
Right.
Ever. I don't think ever they've seen this.
Tidal waves.
Yeah.
Sufas Nachshol. So what are you supposed to say? Shekoicha Yigvurasa in Moli Olam. Tosis brings you Yerushalmi over there. Yerushalmi says that maybe you shouldn't make a Shekoicha Yigvurasa in Moli Olam. Why? Because we're not sure exactly what qualifies as Ruchos. Ruchos Ketanos is only Osamas Bereshis. It's not Shekoicha Yigvurasa in Moli Olam. What's Ruchos? So it says it has to be a ruchos that shekoilo nishma misoifa olam out soifa. From one end of the world to the other end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think today we know what that means. It's heard from one end of the world to the other end of the world. Shekoicha Yigvurasa Malelim. The Gemara says in Bereshis, "My zavos." What is the zava? Zava. Zavaot. Zavaot. It says in the Gemara, guha.
Guha.
Do you know what guha means?
Earthquake?
Yeah. It means an earthquake. But literally guha means a sigh. But an earthquake, a sigh. An earthquake. Rav Ketina hava azulei b'orcha. Rav Ketina was walking on the derech. And he passed a place called Uba Tamya, which was in a base of Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah was Uba Tamya, that was his name.
Uba Tama?
And Uba Tamya. And all of a sudden, there was a guha. So Ketina asked the Avodah Zarah, Uba Tamya, do you know what that guha was? So the Uba Tamya comes back to Rav Ketina and says, Ketina, do you not know what the guha is? He says, what is the guha? Bizman she Yisrael Shuruyin Batzar. when Israel is shori in pain. Moirir Hashem shtei dma'os. Hashem cries 2 tears, kaviyachol, and they go into the Yam HaGadol, to the Atlantic Ocean, and they erupt in sound, and they shake the world. V'koilam nishma misoifa oilam v'ad soifa v'zehu guha. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Says Rabbeinu Chananel, when the Rabbeinu Shalom sees that his children are bitzar, bein ha'umos, because the goyim are afflicting us yoiser midai, it's becoming too much. And the Rabbeinu Shalom looks at us and he sees our pain and he says, when is this golus going to end? Let me destroy the world, I'll bring a mabul. I'll destroy the world and I'll take the Klal Yisrael back home. I'll stop their tsar. And then he's misnachem and he says, perhaps it's not the right time. But that hargosha is so overwhelming. That hargosha, that I want Klal Yisrael back, is so powerful. And the misnachem is so sudden that the forces of nature become overwhelmed and overturned. And the natural tendencies and realities of things become supernatural. And the world starts to erupt with earthquakes, and the winds start to blow. It's a sign that the Rabbeinu Shalom is telling us and seeing the tsar of our golus. And Rabbeinu Chananel says that just like Golus Mitzrayim had a kates, so too our Golus has a kates. And we should never give up hope. There will be a time that the Rabbeinu Shalom will take us out and back to Eretz Yisrael. And he reminds us here and there that we are in Golus. Never shall one say, I'm comfortable, I don't want to go anywhere.
Oh boy.
My wife was at a shir last week and somebody was saying, let's be honest, how many of us would heed the call of the Mashiach and drop everything and go?
What else is there?
And I disagree with that Maggid shir. And I think that we would all go without batting an eyelash. Every single one of us. It's not true. We know Hashem is waiting for us. He sends us these reminders. But we have to remember where we are. We're in Golus. There's people that want to do harm to us. There's people that are harming us. There are people that are being mitzvah us. And all we have to do is turn to Avinu Shebashamayim in Tefillah. Whether it's Shachris, Mincha, Marviv, or it's Sichosan Shel Avdei Avos, and we turn to the Rabbeinu Shalom, we say, Rabbeinu Shalom, please, Hashive Shoiftayich K'Virishoyna V'Yotzayich K'Varchila Achareichein Yikaralach Yiratzedek Kirya Ne'emana. Bring us back to Yerushalayim. Tzion b'mishpat tipada v'shaveh b'tzedakah. You've shown us that you want it to end very clearly this week.
Clearly.
We also want it to end. Please bring us out. Please send your Mashiach to Canaan, that he should redeem us. Amen.